I remember a guy coming to me and she's like, Johnny, I need you to paint all my dancers in 2 hours. I was like, how many dancers do you have? She's like, 13 dancers. I was like, you want me to paint 13 dancers in 2 hours? What do I look like? Do I have...
An octopus.
Yeah.
Johnny, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on the Kelly Lundberg podcast.
Well, thank you so much for having me here.
My pleasure. When I was doing a little bit of research about, your backstory and everything, I see that there's a number of different hats that you wear. Why don't you share with our audience a little bit about, your backstory and what it is that you actually do?
I had a dream of doing one thing, and then I couldn't really do that. So I found myself doing many things to hopefully one day get to live my dream. But, along the way, everything that I've done was literally kind of like a portion of creating that dream. Yeah.
Was this the accident in the scholarship?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, that's the thing. It's like constantly, like I have, let's say, a dream to do one thing, and then that one thing leads me into another thing. So it's kind of like, it's never really the card that I pick, it's always the card that gets picked for me while I'm going for what I thought I was supposed to go for.
Was it filming at college and then you got a scholarship through football? And
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, this filming came out of like, okay, you know what? I cannot be an artist. I need to kind of like now be in control, sure that I'm in control of my artistic ability, and not, how do I do that? Oh, director. Okay, let me be a director. Since being an actor is maybe too much of an artist, or so it's always finding that alternative that pretty much satisfies the two hemispheres of the brain, like kind of like beyond the two hemispheres of the brain, satisfies my family's expectation, let's say, of me being, let's say, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, successful person, since art was definitely not thought of as success.
Your dad wasn't happy. I remember reading that he found you with pens and you'd covered the cupboard in art, and did I read that right?
Yeah. The thing is this: I kept all the art, all the mediums were taken away from me until I was like, but I couldn't stop. So I just found, some pens, and I just went at it. I remember like
you hid it under your bed.
Yeah, I went under my bed and I started drawing until there was no more room. And then I went to my closet, and then afterwards, I couldn't all the interior of everything was filled up, so I had to start spilling outward to the outside of the closet, outside of the bed, into the wall, and then it's like, oh no, the kid doesn't stop. That's the reason why I kind of always was trying to find a way to squeeze me through, let's say, being politically correct or being accepted.
Yeah. When did you kind of give up that? Enough, I'm going to go and do what I want to do? Yeah,
I believe that was at the end of my high school. I was in a private high school, and I was doing my test finalizing my test to go to Harvard or Stanford. I think it was like one of those two. And then basically I decided to skip it, not go. And that pissed off everyone. My dad was like, I just spent $1 million on you doing this and you skipped the test. Anyway, so I did skip the test, but I still passed,
Good for you.
Yeah, and then I decided to just fly off to Los Angeles, and
as you do.
Yeah.
The city of dreams. Let me go to LA.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, I'm going to LA. That's it.
So you were what, 17, 18, 19 by then?
Yeah, 17.
Yeah, and you go
17 turning 18 almost.
So you go to LA with this dream to become an artist, or was it designer? Because I know that's what you went into, designing. But what was the dream when you went there?
It was funny, because the thing is this, I remember it kind of started with, I was like, one day I was reading about how much actors make, and how much Michael Jackson makes, a year. And then I was like, I found out that there's Hollywood, and I was like, oh, Hollywood, actors make that much money. Okay. So maybe I want to go and do that.
I wonder how many people actually do that, and they sit in there and they go, I suppose that's why people go for the 6-8 months and make it work. But it ended up working for you, not as an acting career though, did it?
No, but it was really funny, because when I went to LA, I was like, okay, so I'm doing filmmaking. you know, because I'm going to be in control of my dream, you know. I'm not going to be that guy in front of the camera. I'm going to be behind the camera, directing who's in front of the camera. But then people kept like saying, you should be an actor. Like, you should be an actor, really. It's like I kept making friends with actors and actresses, and they like constantly send me to auditions. And then I just show up, and once I'm in front of the camera, I freeze, you know? And nothing comes out. So I was like, okay, it doesn't work.
That career is not going to happen for me.
No, that career is definitely not going anywhere. I'm here to be behind the camera, you know?
Yeah.
That dream got crushed with a motorcycle accident. So so I had to reinvent myself. So I guess, you know, it was like constantly forced to reinvent myself. Every time I thought I found me, I realized that was just a portion of me. There's still more. When I had my accident, I remember my manager coming to visit me, and he's like, if I had the life that you had, I would have been in a mental hospital by now. You know, I'll be done. You know, I don't know how you take everything, how you take all of that. So, and I didn't think of my life that way at that point, you know, but then I was like, okay, you know, do I take that as a compliment?
How do you think you managed it at that time?
I always managed to look at the glass half full, you know, instead. Yeah, because I mean, the thing is this, since I was a child, I was always suppressed to do the things that I wanted to do. I always had to find a way to express myself, you know, so I always had to find a way to fight the authorities to get to express myself. So yeah, I mean, that's what I thank my God,
you just kind of thought this is normal.
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, once I was done with my dad, you know, I realized that okay, there is a bigger daddy, which is the world. Yeah. And the world is constantly wants to as well, you know, suppress you. I mean, box you, keep you in check, keep you within a limit. At the end of the day, I'm actually quite thankful that I had to, you know, I was trained since, you know, since an early age to fight for my dream.
When did you get into, because you've had the career in design and you've dressed and you know, a number of celebrities. When and how did that happen? And then you've gone on and had reinvented yourself again. So let's touch on the fashion design and then the next kind of iteration to where Johny is.
After my pursuit of becoming filmmaker was crushed. Then after going through my depression and realizing that I needed deep rest from fighting, because I can't, you know, realize that I've been fighting since I was born. I never had the space or the privilege of really sitting there and having a minute with myself, because I was constantly thriving to prove myself to be worthy or to be something. So therefore, around that time, I believe I went back to being an artist. You know, started drawing again. And then basically, I remember I was like drawing some figures, and then I was seeing my psychologist at that time. And then I was like just waiting for her, drawing some things. And then she looked at it and she's like, oh, you know, you draw pretty well, you know, that looks like a dress. And you dress pretty well, you know, so why don't you just pursue a career in fashion design? I was like, fashion design? I mean, I'm you know, I could have like dreamt of anything in the world other than being a fashion designer. So I went to a fashion school. I went visited a few universities, few colleges, and then every time I go to visit, and I'm like, I see these women, you know, just sewing, cutting, and I was like, man, this doesn't seem like it's me. Then I went to see one of the colleges, and then I was convinced to study apparel manufacturing management. You know, so since I was already creative, and I'm like. The thing is this, when I went for the meeting, I had like 3 papers to show, you know. I was like, and he came to the conclusion that I'm already creative. So I was like, he's like, okay, you don't need more creativity, you need business. You need the business side and how to run your creativity. So that was really good at the end of the day, because I ended up starting my first fashion company 1 year into the school, you know. All my professors, everyone around me was like, if you don't make it, I don't know who will make it. You're the next Calvin Klein. You're the next this. You're the next that. So I got pumped up, you know. So I was like, okay, I'm ready. Let's do it.
And you dressed a number of celebrities over sort of a period of what, 10,
I
15,
did.
20 years?
Yeah.
And then I read that the artist piece is still in you. So I saw that you worked with Lady Gaga and that you ended up, was it 17 models? You drew art on the bodies for a runway show or an event?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is I remember Gaga coming to me and she's like, Johnny, I need you to paint all my dancers in 2 hours. I was like, how many dancers do you have? She's like, 13 dancers. I was like, you want me to paint 13 dancers in 2 hours? What do I look like? Do I have...
an octopus.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I forgot I was an octopus, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, but I love challenges, you know? It's like, I live off of challenges.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, if this coming my way, that means I can do it somehow, you know? Then I was like, you know, I took a minute and then I was like, yeah, I can do it. You know, can you just put them all in a row, you know? And I need all the makeup artists that you have around, you know, to help me out. She's like, okay. So basically I put all the models in the row. I was like, close your eyes. And then so I was like pouring paint on top of each model. Got gallons and gallons of paint. And then I was like with my hands, you know, painting, you know, just making sure that they're all painted head to toe. And then, with like just brushes and this, I don't know, I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. And then I did this fashion show in Berlin where I just wanted to, as well, like just kind of like push the limits. Yeah, and I painted 17 models. I woke up in the morning around 3 in the morning, and then it took me until 8 p.m. the next day, and I finished.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did Lady Gaga find out about you? I mean, what's that?
How did she find out about me?
Yeah.
You see, I've been in the Hollywood circle since, because I was in Hollywood, you know, since...
The actor.
Yeah, exactly. And I was dressing all these celebs, etc. So I had already contacts in there and name and So she found me through that, you know, through my contacts.
Yeah, so even when you look back now, they always say that you can't join the dots until you look back.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
when you look back, you're like, that's why I did this, that's why I did this, and that's why I did this. And it's really like they're all connected for you in some way.
Yeah, exactly. Because as a matter of fact, I really resisted the idea of doing body art. And because I felt like it degraded my art, and then my art went from spending 16 hours on making an image and the model sitting there for 16 hours, you know, getting painted, and then it's gone after the photo shoot, you know. It's like, but we have a picture, you know? Yeah. So anyway,
it really makes it more exclusive, does it not? Because every body's different.
Yeah, no, it does. But the thing is this, it's kind of like, you know, I have an intention with doing it, you know, and then the rest of the world has another way of seeing it, So it's kind of like people tend to see it from a naked perspective, you know, while I'm seeing it from a point of dressing the soul, you know, just kind of like bringing out something that has been suppressed. And been dismissed, which by us covering it with what designers do, you know. So it was like kind of like, you know, destroying as well my designer, you know. So it's kind of like it's being the destroyer and the creator at the same time, you know. And I believe that's kind of like, that was the powerful thing about doing it.
Yeah.
It's
and different.
Like, exactly.
So you've got the artist in you, you've got the designer in you, you've got the inventor in you. Now, let's move on to a little bit about this sort of new era that you're in, or say new era. It's something that you've been doing a long time, but maybe if you explain, it might be better.
You were speaking about AOI, the Art of Implosion. I mean, the thing is this, the Art of Implosion for me, it's is really the dream for me. It's like the dream that I've been wanting to bring and share with the world since, let's say, my childhood, because that was my talent, my ability was I was able to see behind the door, behind the wall. You know, I was able to see what's under the skin, hear the thoughts of people before they even said it, you know. So therefore, it's like I had that talent, I have that ability to see the invisible. But then I was always made to feel weird, odd, freak for being able to see the other world,
visualize it, and see it.
And then I didn't really receive much support in doing so. Around 23, when I got a bit sick and tired of the fashion scene, of the vanity of fashion, because the thing is, this is kind of like, for me, it's like, I don't know, I realized that, okay, once I reach the top of anything, I then end up retrieving, I end up kind of like, that's what I mean. I have that creator and destroyer within me.
It's like the goal to get where it is, and then once you get there, you're like,
I want to destroy it.
What's next?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm constantly playing those two cards. Here I'm like so passionate about creating, but then once I create the peak of what I'm going for, then I'm like, okay, it's time to destroy and time to move on to another
Something
peak.
else.
Yeah, I kept doing that, but I believe that's exactly how I was able to reach so many peaks, because what I was looking to master was beyond fashion, beyond art, beyond design, beyond music, beyond our way of perceiving arts, And for me, art is the seed of creation. Everything around us is a form of art in one way or another.
Yeah.
So therefore, for me to come and master that art of creation, therefore I needed to master as well the art of letting go, the art of destruction. So be able to create it and be so obsessed with creating it, and then be so removed and let it just destroy itself and move on to a new creation. Kind of like help me discover all the blind corners. So there was no more blind corners for me, because the thing is this, we're constantly afraid to go further or to explore a new thing because we're afraid to lose what we have. And that's another thing that I'm thankful for, that my dad destroyed my art, because helped me be at peace with the fact that it's fine, let it be destroyed, I'm still the creator.
What aspects are you working on right now then?
Speaking about AOI, the Art of Implosion. So basically, here's the thing. When I left in 23, when I was 23, I went and took on a different path altogether. I went and started meditating. Started going back to where I left off when I was, let's say, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did not want to accept the other world, the rest of the world, and I only wanted to express me. I felt like, okay, I left that behind and I need to pick up where I left off, because that was me. That was my true essence. When I meditated, I had an experience, I'm not going to go into it right now because that would be another
podcast.
Podcast for sure. Basically, I came to start seeing what I used to see before. I see the energies, the invisible thread that makes everything. And then I went on a little journey to further explore this, and then I came to discover that my art was revealing the invisible, showing what has not been seen, showing that 99% space that makes up the atom. And I felt like humanity is quite dumb, because we're fighting, we're exploding from that 1% onto that 1%, and we're just constantly in that mode of destruction, even though we're creating. But the thing is this, in order for us to create the table, we have to destroy the life of the tree. We're not able to actually create from implosion, instead of explosion, So we're not able to actually create from, let's say, taking a piece of that falling, a piece of the tree, and then imploding that to a table. We're constantly missing that 99% space in our perspective, and then in our observation of creation. Going back to, let's say, Einstein and saying, energy and matter are interchangeable, but where is the application of that? So, okay, maybe we went as far as cell phones and radio waves, etc. Again, we're still missing that ability to actually infuse that energy and bring on a new form of life. So therefore I realized that this is really my purpose. My purpose is to discover that formula that connects all of it. In that space, I came to discover a mathematical equation. And that mathematical equation, I realized that this is what I've been doing all along with my art. I came to further my meditation and my, I went around the world a few times. I would say I was seeking. I was seeking. I was like, okay, maybe the Native Americans have some wisdom to share with me. Maybe the Buddhists have some wisdom to share with me. Maybe the Hindus have some wisdom to share with me. The various religions, so I studied all of, I looked into all of that. I didn't maybe let's say, study it intensively, but I basically looked at it to a point where I was like, okay, I get it. I get the point. I get the common thread, Everyone is trying to say the same thing, but in their own way, but then they're all fighting against each other because, again, they're not able to collapse that space into that atom, And everyone is kind of again, seeking it, I felt like my purpose was to connect those, And then once I did that, I realized that we can resolve our problems with, if we're able to actually infuse that space back to the atom, And I realized that our sicknesses and our limitations, etc., all of it is coming from those points being disconnected. So I dreamt of the idea of Art of Implosion, AOI, and healing with light and sound. Because the thing is this now, if you look at the space, what exists in space? Light and sound, Yeah. So that's what occupies space. Therefore, if we're able to actually find, let's say, the right code, or the right password, to get into the body, and allow the body to open up, to be able to absorb and to take on that space, then basically you can heal the atom, you can heal the body from just being able to do so. So,
is that what you call biohacking then?
Biohacking is a term that is used for those that, I guess, that are playing with various ways to extend their life or to rejuvenate their cells, to enhance our performance, by using all these various ways, all these various hacks to do so. I don't consider this biohacking, let's say, but it is a form of biohacking.
Well, I suppose if you're going, well, this, by doing this and this will help you recover from illness or disease, or then that is prolonging the life in some dimension. Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, the thing is this, based on our studies, you get in for one session in AOI, and basically your cells are rejuvenating by 6 to 7 years in one session.
Wow.
Your organs are getting all aligned back to their original function in one session. Your aura is getting restored in one session. And then, and you're like, okay, how is that possible? But it is possible now because what I explained, 99% is space. So now when you are feeding the atom that 99% space, guess what happens? The atom just responds with full rejuvenation.
Do you notice a difference? Or is it more internal, that it's 6 to 7 years healing? Or would you notice on the outset, or is it more a feeling?
Oh, no. I mean, it's all around. I mean, from your skin to the shine of your eyes to... the spark of your eyes come back, I've seen people literally go in looking like zombies coming out alive again, and they're just not, the thing is this, it's not just working on the physical, it's working on the emotional, it's working on the mental, it's working on the spiritual, it's working on the full package, because this is I believe this is the misperception with humanity in general, We're constantly trying to fix the 1 out of 1%, and then leave, there's 99% is constantly left out.
Wow.
So here, you're getting into that space where all of that is getting addressed. I have people going back to being in the embryo in the state of, in their mother's belly, and speaking to themselves and saying, little buddy, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna do great.
Wow.
I have people going back and healing the trauma of birth. It's infinite because you're getting into that infinite space. My focus has always been, how do we balance out the world? We balance out the world by balancing out ourselves. If you look at, let's say, society and how we're driven to think with our heads, with our brains, with the brain that is in our head, because we have more brains than just the one in our head. So, and now when you look at the brain in your head, the brain in your head is lacking sensory neurons, so it has no feeling, it has no emotion. You can operate on the brain without drugging it out. You won't feel any pain because it doesn't feel anything. And then we have something that doesn't feel anything run our world, run our body, which does not make sense at all, because we are full of feelings. We need to feel things. 99% of our interactions are based on how we feel about something, But the thing is this: when you disconnect people from feeling, from being able to feel their body, feel their environment, then you end up creating dumb people, the disconnected people. So therefore, this is kind of like basically our society is literally all focus on the brain, activity. The belly, the gut brain, ends up being that counter. So it's kind of like, for me, it's like we have three brains. We have the brain in our head, the brain in our heart, and the brain in our gut. The brain in our head is that intellectual, mental, let's say, thought driven process. The brain in our gut is the action. Is the brain of action, because you're hungry, so you gotta take action, so it sends. And then the brain in our heart is that emotion, that emotional intelligence. You dismiss the heart and you're constantly in that action and mental perspective, then no wonder people are fat, no wonder people are disconnected, no wonder people are lazy, no wonder people have all these problems out there, because the problem really comes from the wiring, how we're wired. So basically, when you go into, let's say, have the AOI experience, the Art of Implosion experience, what's happening here is this: it's literally taking that 30%, 20%, 30% energy that your brain ends up stealing from your body, because it's only 3% of your mass, and it's using up 20, 30% of your energy, and then the rest goes into your belly, and then basically you're occupied, you have no room other than to run between those two dualities that you are existing in. So now what's happening with Art of Implosion, it's bringing you back to your senses, bringing you back to activating your sensory neurons and activating the heart. And when people come back to their heart and leave that abuse that they're living internally, then they end up feeling alive again, They end up rejuvenating, they end up connecting with themselves, And therefore, the mental health, just goes up the roof. The mental sharpness goes up the roof. Just your physical performance goes up the roof. Everything gets better.
And can only you do this, or can you train people to do this? Because I'm thinking from a business capacity, how can you scale this? How
do you scale? The machine does does the work. So now it's doing all of this. You just go in there and it's doing all of that. It has the intelligence where it will point out exactly where your problem is, and it will start working on your problem. And then once it's done with that problem, it will move on to the next one. And then it will move on to the next one. It will literally take you through this journey of mental, emotional, physical, and constantly spiraling you, first will spin you, will circle you in that, until you pretty much cover all that, and realize that, okay, I'm blocked here because of the way I process that experience, and my mental thought is locked into that way of thinking. Therefore, I'm constantly forcing my gut to want to eat this junk food because I'm holding on to junk information. Junk information leads to junk food, and junk food leads to inflammation. And that's basically the main cause of sickness. So basically, when you unlock the body from this madness, from this formula, then the body comes to actually go, okay, I don't need to be now under the spell of my reaction to the experience. Now I can be beyond that and actually have the emotional intelligence to sit there and guide myself through the experience and through the healing of that experience, and bring myself to a place where I'm now mastering my existence. This is what's happening in there. People becoming the masters of their own bodies again. Some people go, oh, the treatment is quite pricey. Not really. It's not pricey, because the thing is this now, if you had to go and see a psychologist, a nutritionist,
how much is a
chiropractor, I mean, the session is $400 an hour. Yeah.
In 1 hour, the machinery can take you back 5, 6, 7 years.
Exactly. So I mean, what does that, but it's not just doing that. I mean, I have so many people coming back and say, Johnny, thank you, AOI saved my life, AOI changed my life. They were on their way out of kind of like, okay, retiring from life, dismissing their life, because now they're in 55 and now they're like, I feel like I'm 20 again, because that's the thing. It's not just rejuvenating the cell. It's not just making you look younger. No, just think of it this way. Yeah? You stop going to the rock concert because you got sick and tired of going to rock concerts because you cannot take it anymore. You stop falling in love because you got sick and tired of getting your heart broken. Yeah. So it's all memories. Yeah. And these memories, they end up interrupting our experiences and interrupting our ability to actually reinvent ourselves, reinvent the moment, wake up and go, okay, it's all brand new. I'm fresh again, I can start my life now again, it's never too late. That's what's happening in there. What we're doing is we're literally cleaning up the hard drive. We're clearing up your DNA from all this junk information, junk memory, memory that is holding you back and is convincing you that you're not worthy anymore because you've already been disappointed so many times. But now all these disappointments are all of a sudden gone. You're brand new, fresh. It's not just rejuvenating the cell, it's rejuvenating even your mental thought. I mean, that's the reason why a lot of mental fogness ends up getting erased. The mental fogness is because of that excess memory, excess information, and your inability to take on any new data.
Where can people do this then? So people are listening, they're like, oh, this sounds interesting, I want to try it, but maybe they're not based in Dubai, because you have a machine here in Dubai. Where else in the world?
Yeah, we do have a machine here in Dubai. You can go to the @artofimplosion.com and find out. We are in Dubai, Berlin, Ibiza, and Costa Rica. We already have 10 more locations that we're expanding to, but I just had a little delay with my production. I just changed my production. Anyway, it's a lot of work doing all of that. Soon we'll be available in many more cities, and at the moment actually open to taking on inquiries for people that are interested in bringing it to various parts of the world. Yeah, because I mean, this needs to be out there.
You have your own book as well. So if people are enjoying what they're hearing, you released a book about the experiences. Do you want to tell a little bit about that?
The book that is related to the AOI experience is called 𝗵𝗍 Your Body.
Yes.
And this book, it talks about what we just went over. Does information lead to inflammation? And how to really come to occupy our bodies, occupy our ability to think clear, feel clear, and be able to take action from a balanced state of being, not to take action out of needing to respond to the pressure of life. When we are focusing on explosion versus implosion, when we're focusing on occupying the world around us and we forget to occupy our own bodies, I feel like this is a good part of dissatisfaction, the disconnection. I was lucky to experience life high and life down, and then high and up and down, up and down. What really counts at the end of the day, what really matters, having the fancy everything and not feeling connected to any of it, or having the nothingness and feeling connected to everything. There is always a price, you don't just get rich and not become miserable in one way or another because you are disconnected now from your feeling, because now you feel like you have to be that one that holds on to the opportunity or to the wealth and not to be able to give it to someone else. it's very important for us to go inward and realize kind of like what we end up doing to ourselves, acquiring what we acquire externally. There's always a price to pay. That good looking aspect of it might be really miserable in many other ways.
It's not always the Hollywood dream.
No, it's not. It's not. It's so not. Because you know what? Let me tell you something. 99% of the people that I know in Hollywood are miserable. Miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable. They just act because they're actors. Yeah.
Wow.
They just act happy because at that point they're like, okay, you know what? If I don't act happy, everyone thinks I'm the stupid one. I'm the idiot because I have everything, but then I'm still complaining.
There's so much that I want to touch on the fashion industry, but I'm conscious of time as well. The one question I did have is the sort of journey have you been on? And you've talked a little bit about the relationship with your father and how, in some ways now you look back and you're like, I'm really glad that he gave me those kind of tough lessons.
Yeah.
What does he think now of the space in the industry that you're in?
I was like waiting for Art of Implosion to prove everything that I've been doing. Think of it this way. It's kind of like, for me, I wanted to change the world through entertainment. People want to be entertained. So I was like, okay, here, fashion, art, and music. Let them be entertained. And then I'm getting my way at the end by bringing everyone to Art of Implosion. And then he passed away
I'm so sorry.
10 days after I created AOI. Wanting to show him what I've been working on. And then, that didn't happen. I came to realize that you can never do anything for anyone. You can just do it because that's your purpose. And you just be at peace with it.
I love that. That's a nice way to end on as well. Can you take a couple more minutes? And I always like to end with a few fun questions. I don't know what's coming up. You pick maybe 2 or 3 of these. Let's see what it says.
2 or 3 of these.
See what you feel like taking.
Okay, here. So that's it.
So do you want to repeat what it says and then answer it?
Okay, I'm irrational when it comes to love.
Really?
Yeah, because I like to be in love with everything that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So if I'm not in love, usually I don't want to do it. Everyone's like, oh, you're wasting your time. I'm like, no, I'm exploring love. Love is always here to teach us something new because love is so much bigger than anything else. Once you get me with love, you can get anything from me.
What's the biggest love affair you have at the moment?
I think my love affair at the moment is bringing Art of Implosion to the world because I'm in love with the fact that we're sitting there and literally transforming people's lives. We're taking miserable people and turning them into blissful, joyful people. Coming out of the experience, just want to cuddle and hug everyone, love everyone, and just people like, I've seen relationships that are on the verge of ending that just get restarted again by people realizing that, oh, I love my kids, I love my husband, I love my world.
I love life.
I love life. It's a whole new experience. So yeah, I'm quite passionate about getting this out there.
Amazing. Yep. Pick one more.
Okay, one more. One more here. Let's go with the first card. Speak in my heart and not really worried about what others think.
I wanted to touch on it, the fashion world. So I've spent 20 years as a former celebrity stylist in the fashion world. I feel that it's one that it's hard to speak yourself or be yourself. Would you say that's the same? Like, I feel so me out of it, and I didn't realize how much I was involved in it when I was there. But now I don't care so much. I don't care what anyone thinks. Whereas I was so involved with thinking what people were saying before. Did you experience the same?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a vanity affair. It's all made up. It's all act. It's all a show. So that's the reason why I constantly feel like I waste so much of me dealing with that world, being something that I'm not, and just constantly acting up and constantly needing to be so fabulous. And I'm like, whatever, whatever. I feel like it's so empty and it's so superficial, and it's sad because this is the industry that is dressing the people,
How can we change that?
How? I'm changing it, trust me. This is the reason why I keep going in and out. It's kind of like I go in, drop a bomb, but come out. But the thing is right now I feel like I'm finalizing this by bringing Art of Implosion, and then once I'm done now with this stage, I'm coming in with my next collections that are very much focused on how we feel, how we improve our everything about ourselves, how to really bring out the soul, that has been suppressed. And I feel like that's how we can change it. We can change it by stopping the idea of covering the body with all of this nonsense, basically get back to the essence of what we're really here to bring out, It's like at the end of the day, people don't need another sweater. I believe people need another way to enhance expressing themselves, connecting with the world, because I believe this is our main reason in life or purpose in life, is to connect and to become better at communicating and connecting with the world around us, with each other. Because I believe it's like if we can all enhance our connections, then everything gets enhanced.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's leave on that, but I think thank you so much for sharing your journey, everything that's got you to where you are now, and the impact that you're having on the rest of the world. So thank you so much, Johny.
Yeah, you're super welcome. Thanks for having me over.